Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, if they get their way, there's either not gonna be a minimum wage increase in the COVID aid bill, or it will be kept to $11. But I don't want you to leave this show thinking that the Republicans don't care, because they've got a plan too. Mitt Romney and Tom Cotton have just rolled out their plan to raise the federal minimum wage to $10 an hour 5 years from now. But in exchange for that, they want mandatory E-Verify for employers and stricter penalties for hiring people here illegally or without documentation. So that's sort of awful in two ways. Obviously, all of the additional regulations and all that, the continued demonization of undocumented community and all that. But I'm not even talking about that. It's only $2.50 more than the current. It would take 5 years to get there. But what's also awful is Joe Manchin is only $1 better than the Republicans at this point. Like, how many elections have the Democrats had to win to get control? In 2018, in special elections, congressional elections in 2020, the presidency, winning both the runoffs in Georgia. And after all of that, if it's up to Joe Manchin, and if Kristen Sinema acts right, you get maybe $1 more than you would with the Republicans. How sad is that? Now, obviously, he's different than the other Democrats. A lot of Democrats in favor of $15. Many, especially congressional, would be in favor of more than that. But what a ridiculous thing. Like Mitt Romney, he's the reasonable one, and he wants you to make $10 someday, maybe.
You know, I've never, people criticized me because when I said I can't support someone whose beliefs just in the last 10 years, no, 20 years, right up until believed that I wasn't eligible to go to heaven because of the color of my skin. So I don't understand what connection. I know people like to say Mitt Romney is one of the good ones. Mitt Romney is a man of age. So up until he was a grown up, his belief said that black people were not eligible to go to heaven based on being a Mormon, right? So I don't understand why people feel so connected to these politicians because one day they do something that's right. I am not surprised that anyone who's elite, anyone who lives a life that is disconnected with the realities of being a working class person in this country is ever going to be able to understand why we need a living wage. Whereas someone like AOC, which is constantly demonized while she continues to fight for the people, and she makes mistakes because she is just a human being like everybody else and shouldn't be held to a higher standard because she's a woman or a minority. But she did work a job where she understood how bad it is out there and how you cannot make a living without having a decent wage. So when she speaks from that place of understanding and empathy, and because she lived it. But these people who are disconnected, who've been grandfathered into politics, that people who have come from privilege and wealth and the elite, they are looking at us like we are little rats on a wheel. They don't care about us. So while you can deliberate, you can sit down and have a meeting as to the people who show up for you with votes and their tax dollars, should they have a living wage? And you can still sit back and say, you know what? A carton of milk is $5 and organic eggs are $6 at Whole Foods. So that's $13. You have to work more than an hour to be able to get eggs and milk of quality for your family. And they can sit around and deliberate. If you are worthy of that, you need to reevaluate where you're putting your dollars in your vote.
Especially if you like Mitt Romney are worth maybe, I mean, these net worth things are always a bit loose, but maybe as much of $250 million. And like to go back to a point you made earlier, when I see a guy worth $250 million say, oh, I have a fabulous idea. I think they should make $10 an hour. I think about your thing about eating the rich and I think, get the bread, get the cheese, Mitt Romney, I'm eating you. Because that's crazy.
Eventually, I mean, the people are at their wits' end. This pandemic has taken people over. The crime rate is going up. Like in certain areas, it's getting worse. I live in Los Angeles. The crime rate is certainly going up. New York, the crime rate has gone up. It's just they're playing politics with people's lives, and they've always done it. But now people are up against the wall in a way that they've never been before. So go ahead, keep on with your bad selves in Washington and see what happens.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.